All right, everybody, we are back again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Uhuru, the brother, the good brother, all the way from Mombasa, brother Amin Ra, Grandmaster Amin Ra. And this morning's topic is time running out for Blacks in America? Now, I don't know if you guys are new to the platform. Amin Ra, from LA, born and raised in Cali, relocated to Kenya about, what has it been, 21 years now, Amin Ra? How long?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Now can you hear me? Oh, can you hear me now?
Okay. I hope the internet's not tripping. All right. How long have you been here again? I mean, how long have you been in Kenya?
Uh,
21 years now. Okay. Good. So
21.
I know Amara. Yeah, I know Amara wanted to discuss this topic. So I, he believes in that time is running out. So Amara, will go ahead and take it away. Especially if you want to discuss the situation that happened in Florida. Are you familiar with the situation that happened in Oakland not too last week?
Yeah, about Nina Wilson.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So go ahead, Amara.
Me,
Go ahead and take it away.
I've written on that, Bart, several. Yeah, I can attest. They really hiked up the fares to get black people off of that as part of the gentrification process in Oakland. And it's a shame that they raised the fares, but boost up the security of the passengers. And people had been complaining. In fact, that wasn't even the first incident. That's like the third incident in the month on the BART that they were complaining. It was a tragic loss. But something like this, that what happened to Nina and her sister, is all to cause a ripple effect, which would have blacks and whites running around, altercating on each other, uh, in a very bad way. So, many of the people that are the young people today may not have experienced a serious riot. Okay, I was in one of the Rodney King riot, and it is not business as usual, and by no means. Once the population goes into a riot mode, first hours of the riot, Rodney King riots, you saw blacks in mass running around the shops, and then about a day or two later, things kind of down, but you could not go to work. There was no public transport, and the police did not patrol the street. So it was almost like a wild, wild west, for a short time. But one of the things I found at that ride was that the black people were beautiful. Once the supermarkets were all closed, they've been broken into. There were no police, so people were just coming in taking things. And they had guys that had organized themselves and would only let women and children into the market. Guys wouldn't be allowed, so women could come and take what they needed to survive, because we didn't know how long the riot was going to be. And I saw this time and again, and I can say from memory that I remember saying it was one of the most freest times. I never felt so free when of Los Angeles for those couple of days before the. I think that while people today, black people today, they have been so propagandized, they don't see that what is coming. There's so many different sidetracks. I would like to get into some of those today that we're turning discussion on silly things that are now almost decades in the past. We're still talking about the Chinese in Africa, and the Chinese established an agreement with 40 African countries in 2009, 20 years ago. And today, still no one is complaining. Yet the Negro in America so quick to talk about China or doing whatever in Africa. I have no clue what they think China is going to do, but they think that China is going to somehow turn on African countries that they're doing business with, that they forget about in the world white man's bank, that were doing terrible things to African countries, forcing them to have forcing loans on them and forcing conditions on the loans. And then African countries were reduced to taking the money they would spend on education and infrastructure to pay off the pay off the debt that that the IMF and the World Bank have forced on them. So this is silly, because the African countries have gotten out of the debt of the IMF and the World Bank today, and now that the Chinese are there, they're showing a real common sense approach to loaning money. First of all, it is not China that is giving out loans. It's not China that's giving out loans. It's African countries requesting loans because they need to have the money to rebuild their infrastructure. And indeed, when you look at the loans that the Chinese government and contractors are given to African countries, they're going for infrastructure. They're going for railways. They're going for roads. They're going for building ports. These type of things that help build infrastructure. It's not like where in the United States their loans were given and then they didn't even care where the money went. And for sure, the corrupt people are everywhere. African countries were kind of enticed to be corrupt with the money and not spend it on projects. But in China now, the agreements are set up by African countries that the thing will be built, and it will build on between this time and that time. And the Chinese are very stickler for keeping on time with projects, And these are the sidetracks, and this China sidetrack is one of the biggest ones, and I want to put that to rest right now. First of all, let's take Kenya. 11 billion US dollars, 722 billion shillings, around $7 billion. China, in a 24-hour period on a holiday, spent how much was that? 20 billion in 24 hours. The people did on the Alibaba online website. They spent 20 billion in 24 hours. $7 billion to China is no money. Trick a country or fool a country, they have to bring their military in. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever. That the Chinese are going to come do something to over $1 billion US dollars. Let's put this in perspective. $1 trillion, because America owes China 1.6. American government, not the people. The American government owes China $1.6 trillion, or roundabout. Now, Kenya owes $1 trillion is 1,000 billion dollars. 1,000 billion make up 1 trillion. U.S. owes over 1,500 billion. And you talking Kenya owes 7 billion, Nigeria owes 3.2 billion, and you think that's a lot of money for China? You're joking. It's not even in the conversation. You just have to think. The Trump government started this thing about you have to watch out for the Chinese, because when they came into office, they came to and Trump sent his Secretary of State to. They didn't even want to hear him. They didn't even want to see him. And his whole message, you have to watch out for the Chinese because they'll fill you full of debt and then take over your resources. Like he got some insight on what the Chinese are thinking. Yeah. It's like he didn't read the Chinese agreement with 40 African nations. How in the hell is China going to trick 40 African nations? How can he trick one with the other 39 looking at him, looking at China? The problem with America is that we're stupid. And black people, we're stupid. We Negroes is just dumb. You know, you went to school, you're only 59% of you graduated, and half of those didn't know how to read beyond the high school at a high school level. So I can understand it when they can just put some pictures on the videos, really nice with some music in the background, and then tell you a story with a white man in a suit and tie, and then you believe him. You believe him. It's the problem with our people. Meanwhile, time's running out. You start seeing these incidences like what happened to Tina Wilson and the other brother in Ohio, the other sister in Ohio who was murdered. You start seeing this, the real truth comes out. You fear living in America. You fear living in your so-called own country. And that fear is rightfully so. In the 1700s, according to Dr. Claude Anderson, black people was almost 50% of most of the nation. And today, I'd be damned if we may be 12% of the nation, but like, you know, when you take away the number of blacks in prison, you know, we're in dangerous times. We're in dangerous times. And I'm comparing with China in any kind of way with what the U.S. is doing with China. China is the United States' #1 creditor. In these 40 African countries got loans, but many of the creditors are not China. Their major creditors are not China. There are other local nations that they're doing business with around the country. Mega projects are not being built by China. This is propaganda. The fucking Chinese are building Chinatowns in Africa, and they're gonna have the way they're gonna bring their people in. That is so. Can you understand that how stupid that is? There's no way in the hell you can bring in Chinese people and they come turn all of a sudden Africa gonna change into China. Not in another 50, 60 years. It's impossible. First of all, African governments wouldn't go for it. Second of all, they don't have enough transport to bring that many people that they would need to push aside the billion Africans that's already here. Third of all, what the hell would they want to leave China where they got all of their culture and come to Africa? And then, you know, eventually it'd have to come down to, you know, force. And then what? What is going to be standing still looking at them while they force the Africans out of their homeland and the Chinese force the African out of his homeland take over? No, that's what America would be loving, that so they could jump in on the bandwagon. They would love that, and that's what I'm saying. We've been propaganda.
Amenkrahh, can I ask a question real quick? Yeah, brother just said there are predatory lending practices going on. He has a friend of a former student that worked for a firm that operated in that way. They are waiting on default, then they will control the roads and ports. So what happens if African nations default on their loans?
This is ridiculous. You need to start a friend that was there. I've been hearing that shit for so many decades, and I never met the friend. You know, he's just making up shit. Let's be real. Just making up shit on the screen to say like they want to challenge me. Why? Huh? We need to stop that. Trolling and that psychological nonsense, that shit needs to stop. Ask me a fucking intelligent question based on what I'm saying. Not tell a friend of a friend. We need to quit that. Huh? There's no reason for somebody sitting there, you know. Nina Wilson gets stabbed on the Now, what do you think happened the next fucking day? Do you think blacks that was using the BART system was going on the train like happy, like go lucky? No, they was in fear. the story broke and was all over the news. What do you think were doing that had jobs where they had to interact with their white co-workers or their boss? This is a psychological effect that affects each and every one of us. You walk into the office and there go the white guy in your office, and you wonder, did he read? Did he see the news? Did he watch the news last night? You know, and he's looking at you like, I hope the guy don't jump my back, or he might try to, retaliate on me. This is the psychological separation that's continually going on. It ain't gonna change. It's not gonna change. You think I don't know what you people are going through? I went through that thing. The movie Roots came out in a long time ago. The movie Roots came out in 1976. I was a young man, and I worked for a corporation. I was the only black, and I dealt with my white people, friends, co-workers, no problem. But I started watching Roots, and Kunta Kinte being like, my name is Kunta Kinte. Oh, they beat the shit out of him and told me, now I got to go to work the next day. I go to work the next day, and I walk into work, and everybody's looking at me like, am I going to do something to them? My whole perspective changed just because of that one miniseries. You know what I'm saying? At that job, So you don't tell me these things don't affect us, and then you want to talk about the Chinese in Africa, like you've been to Africa. Most of you, you've not even been. You're just reading the propaganda reports, and then you regurgitating what they're saying on the paper. And then you want to come on the chat line. You ain't got no passport. You ain't bought no passport. Then you want to type on the keyboard, a friend that did this and this is what happened. Like that one incident means something, even if it's true. We need to stop. We need to stop.
Rahh, what about so there's a story. Man, my screen's not focusing right. Hold on one second. Oh, there we go. That's better. I'll fix it. There's a story in which the Chinese repossessed a port from Sri Lanka because they defaulted on a loan. What are your thoughts on that?
I didn't hear the report. And I'm not talking on somebody's things because somebody wants to look up here and tell me that the Chinese, I'm telling you that the Chinese did an agreement with 40 African nations. And then somebody has dug up a report. We don't even know if it's propaganda or not. I haven't even heard of it. And I'm on the internet every day researching this. We need to stop this. Don't come with these same reports of I had a report. Post that report. I'm a Black Man's Guide to Moving to Africa. Please just post that report on my website, and then I'll review it. But that don't change what the Chinese are doing with the Africans. Huh? That doesn't mean nothing. I can tell you that I read another report that said that the whole thing was bullshit, and many of these reports are coming from bogus websites. They're looking for propaganda because Africa is the best place for you. The one thing that the white man fears more than anything else, and the racist white man fears than anything else in this world, in the U.S., is Black people leaving the U.S. Get your head around it. Get your head around this fact. That's his number one fear. When you look at all the other things that he does and all the other things he allows us to do, like riot and picket and do a Million Man March bullshit, he can allow that. But the one thing he's pressing on is the fact that he don't want us to leave. Now the U.S. has pulled out of the Human Rights Council. They have defaulted on paying their fees to the United Nations. The United Nations almost going bankrupt, telling the United States to pay their dues. It's talking about building a wall to keep the Mexicans out. I believe it's a wall to keep us in, because many of us going to try to run to Mexico when the thing go down. And you got to start rising up. The United States history of how they did us and how they're still doing us today, and you can see that without Black communities, what are we there for? There's no Black communities, people. People are still talking about, we got to do something in the Black community. What Black community? You got some few Black neighborhoods, and you don't even own them. You don't even own them, and blacks have lost 50% of their wealth in the 2008 recession. 50%. Most of the foreclosures, everybody knows this. Foreclosures, the blacks lost their homes during that time. They ain't regained those homes. I know I'm sounding harsh, you know, but somebody got to try to wake you people up, because people like Dr. Claude Anderson came out with the Powernomics. That shit failed. The poor man is just sitting there on Watson's show on once a week. He had nothing to say. I repeat what he said before. And Powernomics is out talking about you got to go buy you some politicians. Like the white man ain't gonna rebuy him and outbid you every time. That's nonsense. Dr. Umar Johnson is there. So he said he's the #1 prince of Pan-Africanism and the #1 speaker. He want to build a school in the United States. Like he don't see what's happening. He think he gonna take foolish Negroes, put them in a black conscious school, re-educate them to be black conscious, then set them out into the United States. Like that world is gonna be, what they gonna do? You know, I became black conscious, and even me, I couldn't even deal with society, you know. So I knew what you put a black conscious person, a serious black conscious person out in the United States. It's so many places, so many things he can't do. He just won't fit into society, you know, because he knows too much. He sees what's going on in this bush. You can't even have 99% of your friends is gonna go. You ain't gonna be able to understand. If you be black conscious, if you really become black conscious, you don't supposed to stay in the United States. It's just that simple. House Negroes. And anybody, you just got two types of Negroes: house Negro and field Negro. Okay. The house Negro is a motherfucker that ain't even got a. If you black in the United States, passport, you're a Negro. House Negro. A field Negro is somebody who got the passport. You know, he got problem children, problem family problems. He can't just get that plane ticket like that. And for that field Negro, I'm telling you, it ain't gonna never be a right situation. It ain't gonna be a never right time for you to leave. It took me 10 years to get on the goddamn plane. 10 years. I kept saying, I'm gonna go. I had to say, look, it's just, you know, freeze my life. Let me go on this 3-month trip and see, you know. And I went. And when I got here, when I got here to Africa, I just wanted to slap every white person in the jaw. I just wanted to beat the shit out of each and every white, because they had me believing the propaganda, you know, to make me believe that Africa wrong, bad place for African Americans. All of it is a lie. All of it is a lie. Anybody that can come and tell you that the African doesn't like black people, you're out of your mind. All you got to do is ride around in an African city and look at the artwork, look at the people, the way they dress, look at the, you know, like in Nairobi, they have the transport is painted in sports figures from the U.S., rappers from the U.S. You get into any somebody from Nairobi help me out. You get into any matatu in Nairobi, what kind of music is going to be playing? Somebody in the chat room help me out from Nairobi or from anywhere. What kind of music they going to be playing? Help me out, Kenya. #1 radio station in Kenya. What type of music do they play? Classic 105. And what music do they play on Classic 105? Huh? So they play the soul music on 105. That's the #1 station in the country, but they hate black people. You know, come on. Come here and see for yourself. You're being bombarded by propaganda, lies, news, entertainment, fooling you. You think you're in a good position. You're surviving in the United States. You read about these people that's getting killed. You're walking around and you're seeing the situation. Yet You think like I'm still let me wait. Wait for what? They took your black communities. Wait for what? Economically, they're kicking your ass. The white man is making $100. The average white person making $100 a month compared to the black person making $6 a month. Can I repeat? Can I repeat? A person making $100 a month is average. Black people making $6 a month. And you it just doesn't make any sense anymore. You people now are adults. This generation here, you are adults. You're having children, and you want them to just turn around and make your children a minority. I don't understand it. It doesn't make no sense. You want to take your children and make them a minority when you got an opportunity to shift them out of this nonsense? People, modern Africa is there. It's there with all its little problems, yes, but it's there. It's growing and it is expanding. If it was up to the United States, if they was the only trading partner, we'd still be running around here butt naked in grass skirts. But the Chinese and African leaders have come together like Sankarfa from Burkina Faso, came in, changed his nation around in 4 years, made it self-sufficient in just 4 years. Burkina Faso, I think it is, Thomas Sankara. They murdered him, of course, put a puppet government. They murdered him, put a puppet government in, and he finally was taken out by the military. Same thing that happened in DRC.
Congo. Right.
Yeah. So that business. Yeah. You see these things that's going on, these little scrimmages, you get the propaganda news, but you don't know really what's going on. Like I was saying about just Melinda in South Africa. I mean, yeah, Julius Melinda in South Africa. You see, these leaders, these African leaders are being born, raised, see the problem, their generation, and they're doing what they're supposed to do. They're taking care of business, they're taking their land back. They're taking their land back. Zimbabwe is having its first elections without Mugabe, but Mugabe is the one who freed them. Mugabe is the one who freed them. And to give you an example of the propaganda, how the propaganda kills you, because you know I always say the number one enemy of the black man is propaganda, Western propaganda news. And let me give you an example, an old one. How many people in the chat room think Gaddafi was a good guy? I mean, a bad guy?
No, I think.
How many people in the chat room think that Gaddafi murdered his people?
No, I think everybody in the chat was pretty conscious. We know Gaddafi was a good leader.
Okay, I'm sorry. I know the people in the chat room are on point, but the people in the chat room, how many of your friends, you know, the majority of black people in the United States, if you just polled them, would they say, how do you see Gaddafi? How do you see Saddam Hussein? Okay, Saddam. So how would you see? It's off. That's all. How would you see the Gaddafi or Saddam Hussein or Idi Amin or many of the others that they Adolf Hitler? Yeah, I said Adolf Hitler. Yeah, I said it. How many people think they were bad men? Then if you believe they was bad men, then you victim of Western propaganda, news, and entertainment. You haven't read the stories outside of what the United States has allowed you to give. And one thing about propaganda from these 6 corporations, all of them, is that they can repeat to the point where you believe it, because you say, if somebody says something enough times, it must be true, and it's not true, because this is just one of the tactics to keep us brainwashed. And the number one reason they want to keep us brainwashed is, think about it. They don't want you to leave the United States. They'd rather kill you off here, imprison you like they did in the Jim Crow time, and the time before that, the way they enslaved you. Then let you leave. Because like any other government, in the mindset, still believe black people as property. And if they can't make you work in prison, then they shoot you, they kill you, they eliminate you, and that's what's really going on.
Hold on 1 second, guys. We have 160 people watching, only 58 likes. Please get these likes up. Again, if you're not super chatting, the least you could do is hit that like button or share the video. All right, go ahead, Amara.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Time is running out, and me, I get tired of repeating it, and I'm not going to keep on repeating it. But time is running out. Cities are developed, and they're here, and they're waiting for you. What I mean by modern African city is that you can make an easy transition from the United States to a country, African country, where it's socially basically just like the U.S. Speaking English, social, culturally wise, the laws and basically you would normally have it, as opposed to you coming to an African country and going into the rural land somewhere in the bush somewhere. You want to move to a place where there's plenty of opportunity, where you can just settle in and move around, and then get opportunities in work, family, schools, proper system of government, police, fire department, these type of things. You move to a modern city. Now, I was catching some flack about people going to Ghana, and I just said, I didn't know, I just simply told you, Ghana compared to East Africa is a big difference. Ghana is very small. There's not that much business going on. And people can attest to that. But instead of saying it's true, they want to attack me like I'm talking. If you come into Africa for the first time, and I'm gonna tell you straight, you have better opportunities. You should come to Kenya because it's larger, it's cheaper to live in. That's right, Kenya is cheaper to live in than Ghana. It's large, it's very large, so you don't have people that are making a living and taking advantage of it.
East Africa as a whole is less expensive to live in. The cost of living is less than West Africa. That is West Africa. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, people they want to sidetrack that. The Ghanaian people there, God bless them. Shoot, if they see a foreigner coming in, they have to attack them. They have to try to trick them. That happens in all African countries too. But because Ghana is so small, it's more rampant. Problem in Ghana, again, because the person that comes to Ghana to come to find a place to live doesn't realize that they have sectional homes that they build just for foreigners or for elite Ghanaians, but mainly for foreigners. So they're gonna you come in as an African American, when you get in touch, take me somewhere where I can go get a house for so much. In Ghana, you like, oh hell no, take me back. Because you couldn't stand to live there. Then he said, okay, the key is just like this extreme. There's one extreme, and then there's the other. There's a place where Ghanaians can live, and you wouldn't be find it socially acceptable. And then there's a place where they got like a homestead security place where African Americans can live in little small houses where they'd have. It's expensive. It's expensive, and many blacks have gone there, tried to live there, and it was too expensive, and they had to go back. But in Kenya, you have so many different stages that you can move up and down slowly. This is what happened. This is what I because there was a time when I was in Kenya.
I was going to say, you're starting to go in and out a little bit, brother Ahmed Ross. Just a little bit.
Well, I have been talking, so I don't know how that's happening.
Okay, but go ahead.
Maybe it's the mess. Then that's when the net goes down. So that's what I'm saying. I was in Kenya, and I had a little money, and I live. Let me just say, like, I live poor, a low means for and built up my income. Then I moved up a bit, then I moved up, you see. And then in there for like a year, then I went down, then, you see, it's like that. But wherever I lived, I was comfortable, and there was a place there where, where I could fit in. I don't know how to explain it better than that. You can get a house for $30 a month, be happy. You can get a house for $500-600 a month and be real happy, you know. But in a smaller country like Ghana, it's either this or that, and a lot of blacks have gone back to America with a negative opinion of Africa based on a small, tiny country like Ghana, and that's not the case. So I wanted to make that point out. Hope that people can, look at that. I'm not trying to put anybody down. These are people that just want to sidetrack me. I'm talking about this particular thing and that particular thing, and you can always tell the trollers and the agents because they'll start attacking me personally. They start off the conversation with "you fool," or "this guy doesn't know what he's talking about," and you think the people in the chat room are going to say, "Okay, if somebody I don't know in the chat room is typing that this guy's a fool," and the guy is on live TV spending his internet money and taking his time to try to tell you something different, try to tell you the truth. So who are you going to believe? Now, I'm not here trying to win a popularity contest. I'm here because I know the facts. I know the facts of how a person can come from the United States, arrive in Kenya with nothing, and then live and grow and develop and raise a family and be okay. It's not a lot. It's not like a rocket scientist, but if you come to an African country, you need to start at a modern African country. The bigger, the better. Now, someplace like Nigeria in like Lagos is too big because it's big and it's broken up into sections. So it's actually small sections, and then you could survive there, I'm sure. But it wouldn't be like this based on the size of the whole country of Nigeria. You can go to Brazzaville, or you can go to the DRC capital, Kinshasa, and you can live there. But because of the wars and everything that's going on in those countries, the cost of living, I mean, the majority of the people are living in the low income bracket, and the services that they're having is just now starting to grow. Trust me, in a few years, Kinshasa and Brazzaville, you should check them out because they're two right next to each other, separated by a river, are going to be the hot spots to go to live in, the great places to live in. Because the DRC is struggling with the West to try to control its resources, and the Chinese are now starting to make headway. I don't know what getting in there and doing major, but they finally are being allowed to do that. And what is the West response? Chinese twist your economics and call in their loans on you, as if the U.S. didn't do that. People need to wake up. Listen to what I'm telling you. The greatest fear of the white man in America is black people leaving. Now, I'm not saying all black people come to Africa. I don't give a care what you do, like if you decide to stay or not stay. But if you stay, you're a Negro. And you should just announce that you're a house Negro. So you don't have to keep looking for things bad going on in Africa to try to make yourself feel better that you made in a country that's been whooping your ass for 399 years. You should just stop that. Coming up with, trolling these fake stories about what goes on. There's a lady that got a show when came on the show, and she said that in Kenya, 30,000 people were displaced, and she made a whole show about it. And I'm like, where did you get the number 30,000 people that were displaced? Did somebody go around counting them?
You're talking about.
I lived in. I can't say I lived in Kibera, but I stayed in Kibera. I know the people in Kibera very well. Most of my black boys at one time were coming from Kibera. I trained and had a club in Kibera for many years. For NGOs, They come there. When they come there, they cahoots with the locals. The locals bring their sick ass children in front of the cameras, and they take the pictures, and then they go back to America and like, look at these sick Africans, give us money, and then they come back and they don't put the money there. They can't put the money there because they take more pictures of the sick and dying places, so they can come and make money. The Kenyan government is now tired of that. They want to be a first world nation by 2030, and they're saying like they having a Kabira there is taking their images. On top of that, the infrastructure that is being built, they're building a super highway. This is the second one, by the way. This is the second one because they got the big one there. I was in Nairobi and I was discussing about should I take a matatu or should I take a taxi? And I'm standing there and I'm looking up and I'm realizing there's a freeway. There's a new freeway that's there. That taxi wouldn't take the same route like it used to take. It would take the freeway. So I was like, so you're on the freeway. I mean, on the expressway, and I'm like, God damn, it drives right around the Kabira. So they're building extensions to that, as well as the railway, and people got to move. People got to move. So you see, when they say the girl is in town, they displaced all 30,000 Africans. She's not here. She don't realize that those people, not 30,000. Let me tell you right now, maybe 5,000 or 2,000, but it's not 30,000. They just exploit the numbers so they can be on, so you get your attention. But anyway, those people are coming from up country. From the farms up country. I hope you can understand me. Anybody in here African can attest to me. They come into the city to look for work. So where do they go? They go to the lowest place they can live is in the slums of Kabira. But most of the slums of Kabira have been already organized and taken over. So they have to build like little metal sheets, get some metal sheets, and then make little tent houses, along the way. One guy builds his here, and the other one said, "Let me just put mine right next to you. I'm just going to be right next to you." But then 10 other people say, "Me too, I'll be right next to you." The next thing you know, you got the slum area. And the government said, "You got to go." Turn it on. Okay, sound. They're doing some sort of, I don't know what that electric button is for. They keep telling me, turn it on, turn it off. Anyway, yeah, so I hope I'm being clear here.
You are.
Yeah, and I know it's not a popular subject, and I know people in the chat room, they have to take time to digest this, and I know that it's going to take time, and I'm not going to be the best person that they want to listen to more than once. But I'm trying to tell you, the place is beautiful. I was just on a trip to Nairobi last week for my birthday. I had an opportunity to go around the whole city, different places, where they were taking me. And I was shocked by the amount of development. I was with my daughter. My daughter's 21. She's born here. And one of my birthdays, so we were celebrating together. And we were in the city, and there was this one building. They got they got one that's illegal in Africa. They got these really telling me that when she see this from her home, the building, because it lights up. I had an opportunity to go around, and I was amazed. Some places that I used to go to when I used to live in Nairobi, when I'm traveling through there, I couldn't even recognize the places. I couldn't even recognize the places. They on infrastructure building now. I mean, the main road was being expanded by 3 times. So the normal size, I think they're going to put a tramway up the middle of that main artery that goes from Gong Road into the city. I'm not sure, but the way they're widening it, the way they're developing it, it looks like it's going to be like that. So,
hey, a real question. Shout out to little T. Does Kenya fabricate its own machinery? That's a super chat question.
One of the issues with Kenya is the manufacturing sector is really small. Undeveloped. I can say like that because I was trying to do business. I was looking for some plastic, somebody to make some unique plastic bottles for me, and I went to the up to that area, and that was like it was not happening. And then so as far as, I don't know what type of machinery they're saying, but Motors has a Nairobi, and they build a lot of the tractors. They build most. You may not know that General Motors, while they're telling you that you should go to Africa, General Motors got a head. Okay, so does Visa. All right, the United Nations headquarters for Africa is in Kenya. So they telling you to stay out, but fuck, they coming here like no anyway. They build a lot of the tractors and machineries that can imports through them. They bring in the machines broken down, and then the Kenyans built in Kenya. That's what's happening right now. But the not so much here in Kenya. Same like within the U.S. though. And U.S. manufacturing system is way down. China has got, but that's big in Kenya is the high tech. I mean the ICT area. T is the hub. Phone banking was created in Kenya, and the the opportunities here for that is growing. That's the business I'm in now, dealing with IT and things like that. And business is everywhere. In fact, I see a major that can be developed, but it just needs the proper marketing. And that's where we are now with the CCGA program. I'm developing digital education in schools. Schools they want, but nobody's doing the software. Nobody's doing it. No, I mean, Kenya is building the tablets themselves. Can you imagine? They're building tablets themselves. Government put the tablets out there. This was going in my case personally. So this because I had several connection kind of designing websites and things like that. I've been doing that now. I still got customers and businesses that come in and ask me to help them do consultation. Oh, it's not, and the businesses are not dying. They're growing. I'm older now, and I was always working busy, and you can only do so much work yourself. Is to start, and now is the time when we start to take on employees and take this business to the next level. But you must go to a modern city where you have all these opportunities. There's so many that are out there. You might think that you're walking around jobless in the United States, but you think that there's no jobs in Africa. Nothing could be further from the truth.
Are you there? I'm wrong.
Yeah,
We had another question. We had
there.
another
I'm taking
question
off.
in the chat room. How do you like Mombasa? Somebody was asking in the chat room. How do you like Mombasa?
Okay, if people don't know that Mombasa is like let me see, like the Florida of the country, and everybody goes here to retire, or but not everybody goes here. Most Kenyans, that's wrong. Most Kenyans go to their up country when they get old, wherever they're from. If they're Kisi, they go to Kisi land. But Mombasa is a wonderful place. Weather is always wonderful. And the beaches are totally out. You be on Sunday and have thousands around you. I show that it's refused to be.
Hey, I'm Rahh.
Thankfully,
I'm Rahh. I'm starting to go in and out.
I'm going out in and out.
Okay.
Well, that's not me now. I'm not touching anything. So yeah, Mombasa is a great town. There's a lot more opportunity.
Uh-oh. We're starting to lose. Turn your video off,
in
Amir.
Nairobi and started successful to Mombasa.
Amir, I was gonna say turn your you might need to turn your video off.
How about now?
Oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, as I was saying, Mombasa is a very nice place to retire from. If you have money, come to Mombasa. If you want to work and you're looking for opportunities, go to Nairobi. I'm almost about to go, really thinking seriously about going to Nairobi, because there's so much business opportunities. But I really love Mombasa as my home. I'm going to die here. But when it comes to making money, big money, Nairobi is definitely the place, and is why I normally travel there once a month or so.
Hmm. All right, cool, bro. Let's see what else we have. What else we have in the chat room? Uh, duh, 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 duh.
What they saying in that
Okay, here we
chat
go.
room, man?
The reason why many Africans are leaving Africa for Europe is due to poverty. But if you have money or a steady income, life is good in Africa. What are your thoughts on a statement like that, Amaral?
Okay, there's another big lie. Africans are not traveling to Europe in big numbers. Count those foolish people that you see getting on the boat, and then remember there's a billion Africans. You don't see them running at the shoreline, grabbing a boat, trying to climb on at the last minute. And one of the things that the United States doesn't give you is the number of Africans that return disappointed uh, when they what they find in America. They don't give you a report on that. So that's just. I mean, that was a long time ago when they used to start talking about, well, Africa must be a bad place because all Africans trying to come to America. There's nothing like that going on. You got only those young Africans that see that crap on the movies, and then they rush over. They want to believe they can go to the United States, and they get that in their minds, and then they work on it. And rather than go to college and try to make something of themselves, they're trying to busy, trying to go to America because they just want to see. They just want to see if it's true. Because when you're looking at a movie like Fast and Furious, you're looking at the action, but an African is looking in the background and like, oh, Puerto Rico is a nice place. Oh, that country is beautiful. Look at Dubai. Oh, you see, and he wants to go to these places. Africans, Kenyans, and Africans are even going to Russia. You know what I'm saying? They're going out. That's just the nature of African. They do like to travel out, but you not get it twisted. You got some young boys that go to Europe because they want to go there and work for a few months and then come back and build a house. They're not there trying to live and try to get away from Africa forever. You're joking. You go ask any African that you know that you got on your job. Ask him to tell you what his long-term plan is. His long-term plan ain't talking about living in the United States, raising a family, marrying a black woman, and raising a family, or marrying a white woman to raise a family. Their long-term is build my house for my parents on my property and go back and kick it when I retire. That's the African's mindset. Not like they went into America. Huh? I was talking to an African the other day. He was talking about how, in fact, not even the other day. That African, there's a guy that came on your show, I think last night, and he was saying the same thing I had my friend that told me. Yeah, 10 something Africa
Top 10
was
Africa.
talking about how he didn't. Yeah, he came to America and he didn't realize the racism that was there. He said that when it hit him in the face, he was like totally taken back. Because he had, and I remember him saying clearly the same way my friend said, he never thought about it. He never imagined that blacks was going through so much racism and economic property where people just don't like you. So if imagine if he can see it, you living in it, born in it, and raised in it, and you know, and African American, I shouldn't even call you African American. You Negroes, poor Negroes, don't know a life without racism. Can you understand me? I'm just one brother. Most brothers are not gonna have the ability to do what I do. But when somebody like me comes and try to tell you, I'm trying to tell you, you in the wrong place. The whole thing, when they first took the chains off your feet, said, "Nigga, you free." You should have slapped him. You know what I'm saying? Start swimming. But no, you going, your lost friends, and then you're gonna talk about, well, Master can help you, tilt the land. He's gonna tell you, sure. And then you're gonna go tilt the land for one season. He's gonna take all your money, and when you start to get tired of that, then they're gonna add Jim Crow laws, and then you're gonna be arrested, and then you'll be forced to do it again. That's what happened. And Michelle, the lady Michelle, I forgot her name. She wrote that book, The New Jim Crow.
Right.
And that thing talks about what's going on now. You're being tossed in jail. And it's not so much that, I did this research on blacks being shot by the police. And I kept trying to make it work. I'm trying to make it work. But at the end of the day, it's just not enough blacks being shot and killed by the police in each city. You know what I'm saying? Maybe 13 here, 10 there, 4 there. You see, it's not really a large about. Although they propagandize some of the murders and they try to push them to be something big, but they always fizzle out because they're not that many. And so I got off of that. I started looking at the thing about the incarceration and the way we're being imprisoned. And that is where I found how they're getting us. This is how they're getting us. In the old days, you had the black codes. And the black codes was if you spit on the street, you talk to the white man badly, you're in prison. Today they have different. Today they have, and somebody help me, rescue me if I'm wrong. Today they have plea bargaining. Bargaining. A friend who told me the story this month, how he got mad with his girlfriend and had an argument. If I can tell this story, he got mad with his girlfriend and had an argument, and over his car, signer or whatever happened. So the brother gets mad, throws petrol in the car, and catches the car on fire. The police come, arrest him for arson. So the guy's like, "This is my car. It's in my driveway. I caught on fire because my girlfriend, whatever happened." Police took him to jail, charged him with larceny, 15 years. The prosecutor told him, "You going to jail." Put him back in the cell. Let him marinate on that for some few days. Brought him out. The good happy lawyer he got told him, "Look, I'm gonna try to talk him down. But it looks like you're going to go to jail for 15 years for arson." And then they plea bargained and told him, "Look, we can make it 3 years." Because he never done anything. It was his first offense. Hope you're not listening. And, he took 3 years for getting mad with his girlfriend and catching his car on fire. Jails was crowded. They let him out, gave him 5 years probation with the ankle bracelet. Now, I did the research, and they're telling me that 70 to 80% of the crimes are being plea bargained. Brothers going in, they be overcharged, and they say they plead guilty to a lesser sentence, but a sentence nevertheless. In prison, there you go. And the brother got a strike. So on his record, this thank God he's retired. Otherwise, shit, his whole life was done. You understand what I'm saying to you? So this is the type of life you have. You don't have that here you don't have that here in Africa. All the policemen black. The justice system is not trying to get railroad people. The people are here not screaming that the laws are unjust, and they're happy that the laws are there and people are being arrested and taken to prison when they do wrong. You don't know a life without that kind of thing in the U.S. You want to subject your children to that same thing. We got to break that cycle. The field Negroes out there, you got to get more serious. You got to get on the ball. You got to take that chance. I guarantee you, I can't guarantee you, but if a sane person, regular person, got some common sense, if you come to Africa, if you're okay, you will be okay in Africa. You'll be more than okay because you won't have to deal with white people. You won't have to deal with the unjust laws. You won't ism. You won't have to deal with other races outside of being black. You know, and if you once you get a good once you start working, you won't want to go back. You won't. Now there are people on the chat room that are still gonna try to tell me, what about this and what about that? You need to stop criticizing Africa and you've never been there. You need to stop typing on the keyboard negative things about Africa and you don't even have a passport. You don't have any plan ever to go there. You need to stop. If you want to bank all your chips in the, and not even take the time to take one trip to Africa to see if any of this could possibly be true, okay, fine. With all that America has done to our people and is doing to our people today, it behooves every black person to just take the goddamn trip once. Come back when I came. Once I came here, I stayed. I was gonna come back in 3 months. I changed my mind. I extended it by a year. By the time the year was over, it was like, there's no reason for me to go back. And that's all I'm saying. But I can imagine if you come here, you do your time here, then you go back to America. And you're in a conversation with a white boy telling you, go back to Africa. And you can look him in the face and tell him, I already been to Africa and it's better than here. You don't know how good did it make you feel. And you don't know how scared that white when he realized you've been outside of the plantation and seen the life is a lot better outside the plantation. Because right now he's trying to tell you that the plantation is the best place on earth. No, it's not. It's not. Complain about Africa all you want. You just better remember that Africa is a continent. So when you Chinese in Africa, you better realize that you're talking about China is doing business with 40 different countries. So one country got its deal, another country got its deal. So now China is dealing with 40 different countries. You're gonna do something bad to one, and the others are not gonna find out. It's just jokes. We need to get up off of that. And those people that are serious, I'm talking about the 5%ers. The passports or on your way to the post office. Do it. Do yourself a favor. This thing with Nina Wilson could have blown up to where whites started shooting blacks, blacks started beating up whites, and you could have lost your life, lost your loved ones, or even lost your children, heaven forbid. I mean, God forbid. I mean, ancestors forbid. That shouldn't be done. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. The people that have been caught in the system are in the system. They're not going to tell you. Black people are not going to come up and be forthright with what is really going on with them. But there was a show that came out where they were talking about slaves that had been done wrong, and they had interviewed these blacks. And it was a show that came out, I can't remember, and they started talking about their real stories, what had happened. You can't even watch like 4 or 5 of the people telling their stories before you just get, you just get filled up with anger and emotion. But the one I remember is the girl was talking about her 14-year-old brother had been taken, and she had saw this, and she was trying to find him, and she couldn't find him. And it had been over a year. He'd been put on a chain gang. This was during Jim Crow era, 1903. And the story was so sad that you would have never heard this story if the girl didn't write letters to the president of the United States, and then Freedom of Information, put out those letters that she wrote and other people's letters. You wouldn't have known that. In the same way, like right now, your neighbor could have been caught by the police, arrested, taken to jail, went to court, and then put on probation, got an ankle around his leg right now, and he's hiding it from you. And he's doing it successfully. Or he's moved out or moved away or stopped talking to you. Many of you guys, I'm sure, have friends that you don't see no more. What happened to so-and-so? Where? I haven't seen so-and-so in a long time. And the numbers of those kind of people keep growing because we act, as Black people, we act independently, and we don't talk about our business, especially when tragedy happens. One thing I remember when I was arrested, it was like, God damn, I hope my family don't find out. They're going to be having a field day talking about me, you see? So I know from experience, and it's something that we don't have to have in outside of the United States, and we need to wake up and get serious. Because if another person gets killed, if another black person gets killed by a white person, you're going to see a riot that might be unprecedented in the United States, might be unprecedented, and the police are already geared up to just start shooting to kill. So they already got the gear, they already got the weaponry, they already have the vehicles to chase you down while you running through the street, not trying to get picked up by the police, and they shooting you on sight because they have a mandate that says if anybody resists, shoot on sight. I think you can remember when they killed that guy. The guy was stopped by a traffic cop, and he was shot in the back while running away because he didn't want to go to jail. Left his car and everything, trying to run for his freedom.
Talking about in South Carolina.
Yeah, you saw that video, and then you're gonna try to tell me no, that's just what jokes, huh? Sad. And these things are gonna happen, and once they happen, you're gonna see a very sorry situation because if we can all agree that the industrial prison complex needs to get blacks in prison, then they loving an act. They just would love an incident where a race riot work would pop off, and police would love it because they can round up blacks left and right just for being on the streets or running from them, and or having an argument with another white person somewhere. Police would arrive and arrest you, and this is what I'm sure this might be the next move. They can keep on keeping those jails, and what they do to you in prison is you get in there, they keep you isolated for 3 or 4 days or a week or a month, and then they offer you a job. And they say if you take the job, you'll be taken to another part of the prison where it's, you got more privileges. Maybe they got TV there, recreation.
Real quick,
so you can go live there, but you have to work.
I'm wrong. Real quick, so I don't know if you heard this story, but in L.A., maybe a couple weeks ago, black people were having a black family. They were having a family reunion, a cookout, and older man went into the bathroom. A white person snuck up behind him and shot him in the head and dipped.
Yeah, at any time from now, is such, the atmosphere in America is as such that any incident can cause a ripple effect that will have white people and black people going at each other, and the police will arrest everybody. But I don't think that black people would really survive it. It can last a week, it can last a month, and they can keep telling you in the propaganda news this is going on, or they may keep it from the general public altogether. So you can't really know what is going on. The news is already separated by city. They don't let you know what's going on in Chicago. They don't in LA. They don't let But I'm saying, caught running around on the street, like, and where you gonna be running? You ain't got no neighborhood to run to. You family members is like, they scared, they won't let you in. You see, and then you find out the reality of your situation. You're in a fucked up country. It's bad. The government doesn't like you. People don't trust you. You running in the streets and trying to get away from the police or some other crazy bounty hunters or something, and then where you running to? Canada? Can't go to Canada anymore. They done chopped that off. Mexico? Oh, you need a passport, to get across the border now. Oh, let me go over here and run around, cut through the desert. Oh, they're building a wall, so you can't cross there. You see, some of you think I'm joking, or you see like, oh, it's not that bad. But go visit your local prison and then talk to the people inside the prison and ask them, how they feel about it. Ask them if it's that bad. Let them tell you their story, how they got locked up and how they got put in prison and what's going on with their lives. They're there all around you, but you people don't talk to each other. So you don't really know that you're a friend or an uncle or a cousin that's he's been in prison for 7, 8 years. we and modern Africa is right here. You know, Brian Cole come here. They have met me. I'm not no uh, sick guy or some sort of person, that evil person. But you know, you people in the chat room me, because that's the letter of the day. I don't take a Gaddafi. You know, now now there's somebody who got propaganda. What did I do? What? You see, he's only been loving his people, but because of the propaganda, Idi Amin had all the best intentions. Propaganda killed him all, killed him, but chased him out of his country. You know, Adolf Hitler not read things that happened. You know, and during that time, the communists were murdering people, killing them, shooting the hundreds of thousands of German prisoners, and the United States was their buddy at the time. Roosevelt was his buddy, was the communist buddy. They overlooked all these that was going on by the communists when they were trying to invade into Germany because they needed their help. But at the end of the day, they start finding all these pits of dead bodies of German people, and the United States bombed. What's the capital of Germany? What's the capital of Germany? They can't think of it, but
Berlin is capital of Germany.
Berlin. Bombed civilians. The United States repeatedly bombed them. Just read the story. You just don't know how far the American government go, and then you don't know how far psychologically you've been affected by propaganda. Because each and every one of you should touch yourself and say, okay, why don't I really want to go to Africa? Get in touch with yourself, because the reason why you don't want to go to some,
I'm wrong. You got to cut your off. It's starting to go in and out.
Okay, I think that might be better, but that's what I wanted to say. And I know you won't get a lot of as many likes as if I started talking about Conway West or something like that. Some headline news. It could get a lot more, but I have to be. Again, time is almost up now. These situations blacks are in. When, like this, Nina Wilson has affected many black people psychologically, white people. And this is an accident. This is not going to be the last time. Please prepare yourself.
We're starting to lose you, brother. So what we'll do, we'll go ahead and close out. Everyone, thank you for joining us. I was going to say we'll go ahead and close out, but share with everybody how they can get in contact with you and any closing remarks you want to make. Because we're starting to lose you.
Okay, thanks for having me. Thanks, show. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
A little. I can hear you. Your mic is a little bit better. I can hear you a little bit better, bro. We'll do those out. So any closing remarks you make and all your contact information, go ahead, brother. The floor is yours.
Okay. First, I want to say, save when you're coming over to the continent next week, and a show or two while you're there in Nigeria, and people that want interested in discussing more about a Facebook group site, Black Man's Guide to Moving to Africa, and from there you can get all the information that we're talking about and discussing. So again, I want to wish you to Nigeria, and I look forward to seeing the show that you bring from there. Your mic is off.
I'll leave for Nigeria next Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait. I'll be in Nigeria
Okay, safe journey,
August 6th. I'll land August 6th.
Okay, safe journey. We'll be here waiting to see what you can show us.
Well, everyone,
mic is off.
well, everyone,
it's showing me.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying your mic is. When you turn your mic off, it shows me a sign or a symbol here saying that your mic is off.
I turn it off so there's no background on my end. So yeah, sorry about that. But
okay, no problem.
yeah, but everyone, make sure you guys check out amenkrahh, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. Make sure you guys go to search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Also, Africa Personified on those same platforms. Make sure you go to search for Uhuru.com, DynastyMirror.com, Amazon.com, search your name Dynasty Mirror. Buy a book, please, in Africa Personified out of Africa. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Until next time, family. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. Peace. And also go to my Patreon as well. So make sure you guys go to Patreon too. Peace.
Peace.